Hansika was now alone in the house. Hansika should have been crying, but she was not. Hansika should have been shocked, but she was not. At least, she should have been angry, but she was not. She was sitting in the drawing room on their plush, brown leather sofa, her head tilted on the headrest of the sofa, and eyes closed. She opened her eyes, and took a long look at the photo frame that decorated the wall. It was a beautiful black and white pencil sketch of Sham and herself in their wedding clothes, and, underneath was the trademark signature of Rose. The feeling was sinking in, and, unknowingly, a smile braced her lips as she typed "plan successful" and sent it to one of the numbers on her speed dial list. Sham drove his white bike rather speedily through the heavy morning traffic of Delhi, ignoring the shoutings and abuses of his fellow drivers and passerby, and at the same time avoiding the pits, which seemed to be emerging suddenly on the road as pimples would on a teenager's face. He glanced at his watch as he drove through the parking lot of his office, and saw he was late by half-hour, thanks to the cashier in the bank coming late. After a quick search for his boss's car in the basement parking, and partly relieved on not finding it, he rushed towards the lift to his second-floor office. "Good morning, where is our boss? He has gone to the site directly and is doubtful of coming today." Perfect day, thought Sham as he revolved in his office chair. As he completed the circle, his eyes fell on the gold-plated pen stand on his desk with a photo of Hansika and him standing hand in hand with the backdrop of Taj Mahal, the monument of love, embossed on it. Rose had gifted it in their 3rd anniversary. "Sir, you have a visitor," informed the receptionist. As the visitor left, he scooped out his mobile from his pocket, and wrote "plan successful" and pressed the send button. One month back, on a winter afternoon, Hansika was devouring both the delicious cuisine and the flattery of her friends for picking such an exotic restaurant for her lunch treat, when Joseph had walked not only through the doors of the restaurant but, once again, also of her heart. Hello and a formal introduction to all her friends, and exchange of mobile number, before parting, had rekindled their college love affair again. Their affair had been the talk of the town, and so had been their breakup. It was not the breakup, but the way they broke up, by Hansika walking right up to the stage, after Joseph's solo dance performance ended, and slapping him hard in front of the whole college after she had found out he was two-timing her. 5 years after, beginning with simple exchange of apologies for past actions, the relation had reached a point where even weekend separations, and not being able to meet, had begun to be unbearable for both. Joseph's romantic and flirtatious nature was filling her life with youthfulness and energy, passion and love, which had become mundane and lifeless after marriage to the pragmatic and modest Sham. Sham had always wanted a more homely and demure wife rather than a domineering and independent woman like Hansik A.A. But when his father had apprised him of his marriage with his friend's daughter Hansik A.A., he had hardly any courage to decline. Though good-natured, Hansika had been impulsive from the beginning of their marital life. Still, he was trying to cope up as much when Alexa had entered his life. She was just the opposite of Hansik A.A., and a perfect complement for him. He had met Alexa at a party, and he would not have noticed her had Hansika not introduced her as her college friend. As they had got talking, Sham had wondered how such strikingly opposite personalities can be friends. Initially, Sham had been wary to Alexa's calls and messages. After all, she was Hansika's friend. But her warmth and concern had made way in his heart slowly, but steadily, even without his knowledge, and it further added fuel to fire, when many a times they were alone in each other's company, when Hansika had to opt out last minute of their lunch and dinner plans. It was Joseph's idea. Hansika had been reluctant for divorce. She had never thought of divorcing Sham, and as much as she enjoyed being with Joseph, she never wanted to forego the lavish lifestyle, which Joseph could never afford. But Joseph was persistent. "I love you, darling, and don't want you to be with him. Once you divorce him, we will get married." "I love you too, but why are you so adamant for divorce?" But why would he? His likes, dislikes, choices, favorites, everything, and secondly introduce him to Alexa. It was Alexa's advice. Alexa had never mentioned before that she wanted to marry him, and so when unexpectedly she expressed her desire, Sham was taken aback. But what if Hansika refused to give divorce? Alexa had pointed to particular news in the morning newspaper, which she had brought along with her to their luncheon, wherein the wife of a famous Bollywood actor had filed divorce case, and the reason being rumored was the actor's extramarital affair with an upcoming model. If only Hansik A.A. could be involved in an affair, the divorce can be mutual, and Alexa had the perfect person for the job. Her wannabe actor friend, Joseph. Joseph was exhilarated to see the signed divorce papers of Hansika and Sham. There was a special thrill on the success of this plan, which matched none of the earlier ones. He had Hansika's jewelry in one hand, and her debit card in another hand. He smiled as he recalled Hansika's face when he had demanded the money. Alexa's mouth had to be shut if their plan had to be successful. "If she tells everything to Sham, then we will be in serious trouble," he had said. In another half hour, Alexa would also be joining him with more cash from Sham, and, as they would flee out of Delhi in search of another target, Hansika and Sham would be waiting eternally for their long-lost lovers. Hansika was suddenly brought to the present by the doorbell. She glanced at the watch, and realized she was lost in her thoughts for a long time. It must be him. She opened the door, and he took her in his arms and whispered, "Our plan has been successful. The husband-wife duo has been arrested." "May I come in?" But Hansik AA, all the credit goes to you. Had you not informed that Joseph was your college friend, and given more details about him, we would never have been able to trap him and Alexa, said Prakash as he put down the empty teacup and reached for his favorite biscuit. And how do you forget the chance meeting of Joseph in the restaurant? Poor guy could never have guessed that the chance meeting took more than 10 chances in 10 different restaurants, chipped in Sham. Although his appearance had changed, I recognized him the minute I saw his photo in Rose's mobile. Rose was not only Sham's sister but my best friend too. How could I have let someone escape who had destroyed Rose's life, and not only Rose but many other lives? But at some point, I was scared. If all that Joseph and Alexa wanted was money, why did they persuade for divorce? Actually, Sham, Joseph or Alexa never persuaded for divorce in other cases. But here it was a case of personal vengeance for Joseph against Hansik AA. He wanted to avenge her for the humiliation he suffered in college. To quote his words, more than money, I wanted to shatter her, destroy her. I would never have ended the whole plan without her divorce from Sham.